is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, January 6, 2026. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement, the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio history. Yeah, that's right. We got big-time guests today, Marcus Spears and Paul Finebaum, talk about the upcoming college football playoffs. It's down to a couple of teams now. We'll see who's going to end up being the national champion. But we are going to start with the New York Knicks and their performance last night, losing to the Pistons 121-90. Now, is it time to get nervous? No. Teams go through ebbs and flows. And the Knicks, of course, they don't have Josh Hart, and I think he's a big part of the engine that makes this team go. But before you use that as an excuse, remember, the Pistons did not have Jalen Darren, and they did not have Tobias Harris. So those are two huge pieces for them. And what they did was they outworked the Knicks. They outplayed the Knicks. They out-rebounded the Knicks. They out-everything the Knicks. And I said this on yesterday's show. I'm not sure if you were listening at that point, but the Pistons are the real deal. Now, I watched that whole game. I think it was on NBC, a late-night game when the Pistons played the Lakers in L.A. And they played great basketball. Everybody knows their role. They play really hard. They move the ball. They're also physical, but they play a beautiful brand of basketball. And they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to beat. They're 27-9 after that victory last night. The Knicks, for the first time in a couple of years, have lost 4 games in a row. Their defense is non-existent. Since the NBA Cup, they're 5-6. They're 2 games under 500 since Hart was injured, and we don't know when Hart's coming back. But still no excuse to play the way they played. And there was one thing that jumped out at me. Something that Jalen Brunson said. Jalen Brunson did not have an assist yesterday. Didn't have an assist. Your point guard didn't have an assist. So it should be no mystery why you scored only 90 points. Now, I'm not knocking Jalen Brunson. And he's the heart of the team. But he didn't have an assist. And that is somewhat telling also about their defense. And they had Thompson on him, and Thompson was picking him up at 94 feet, making Brunson work for everything. But Brunson said something after the game that if you listen to me over this quarter of a century, it's one thing that just rubs me the wrong way. And Brunson's quote is, I wrote it down, "They truly wanted to win, and we didn't." Why? Why didn't you want to win? Don used to always try to talk me straight when we did the show together. He said, that's what they say, rather than say that we got outplayed. But he specifically said they wanted to win, and we didn't. They, the Pistons, had an excuse to play poorly the night before they played in Cleveland. So this was the second game of a back-to-back. But they had something to prove to the Knicks, who knocked them out of the playoffs last year. And they kicked their butt in every which way. Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, didn't show up. Didn't show up. They combined for 11 points. Cat had 6 points, 22 minutes. And if you were watching the game, you wondered, is he playing? Now, I'm going to give Cat a little bit of slack on this. Their new offensive philosophy does not accentuate him the way Thibodeau's did. So he's going to be the one who's affected statistically, but it shouldn't be that he gets 6 points in 22 minutes. Here's the difference between Cat this year and last year. This year he's averaging 21.5 points per game, 47% shooter from the field, 35.6 from the three-point line. Last year, 24.4. So 3 points essentially more per game last year than this year. He shot 52.6% from the field, so about 5% higher. and he shot 42% from 3 points. So that's about 7% higher. Those are concerning. He's your number 2 guy. I know you want to incorporate Bridges and OG Anunoby more into the offense. You don't want the ball sticking to Brunson, so they move the ball around. But I don't think that Cat has found his way yet. And they're going to have to make sure that he finds his way. The thing that gets me about this Knicks team, and it was always a concern, is they don't play good defense. And they certainly don't play good defense against an athletic, long team. They just don't. And they're going to have to find a way to play better defense. I know everybody ripped Thibodeau about offense, but he's a pretty good defensive coach. And it's tough to coach defense with the Knicks because 2 of their best players don't play good defense. Brunson's not a great defender. Cat's not a great defender. OG's a terrific defender. Bridges is a good defender. Hart is a good defender, but 2 out of the 5 are not good. So that's something they have to work on. Now, interestingly, somebody posted on Twitter, I hope that this is not designed to, like, catch people, and maybe it's catching me, but I saw it in a site that I follow that I like. It's New York Basketball. It's about the Knicks. And somebody wrote, how could a team that has McBride, OG, and named a couple of the good defensive players be a bad defensive team? And Thibodeau retweeted it, which is really saying a mouthful. So, am I worried about the Knicks long-term? No. They dropped to 3rd, by the way, in the East with that loss. They've lost 4 in a row, as I mentioned. Pistons are comfortably in 1st. And the Boston Celtics, who everybody thought, they were taking pretty much a travel year, a year in Europe after college because they lost Jason Tatum. Well, they're not. They play terrific basketball. They're now the 2nd seed, and the Knicks are the 3rd seed. It all comes down to this, people. Are the Knicks going to go to the finals this year? I don't care how they got there. I don't care the route that they take. I don't care if they take I-95 or they take the Merit. They got to get to the finals. They could break down on the side of the road halfway through the trip, but they've got to get to the finals. That team is built this way. The owner expects them to go to the finals. So if you're going to have a speed bump, have a speed bump. I'm cool with it. It happens. So I'm not here to bury the Knicks. I'm not here to bury the Knicks. But they have not played well of late. I wonder if the NBA Cup kind of exhausted them. 5-6 since that Cup. Now, James Dolan spoke yesterday on FAN, and he said, I expect us to get to the finals, and the Knicks should win the title. Well, he better be rooting that way because he's the one who got rid of Thibodeau. And for all you people that would fight back at me when Thibodeau was let go, and I said, this is Dolan doing this. And then Dolan's minions behind the scene who try to spin things said he had nothing to do with this. This was Leon Rose. But in his interview yesterday on the Fan, he said he had a big thing to do with it. A lot to do with it. Of course he did. You think Leon Rose is going to fire his best friend? One of his best friends that he's known for like 40 years, who took the team to the 6th game of the Eastern Conference Finals. And this conversation right now, not a referendum on Mike Brown. I think Mike Brown's done a terrific job. Great representative of the organization. He's not as dour as Thibodeau. He's better with the media than Thibodeau. But it all comes down to you, Mike Brown, you, Jim Dolan, who played a big role in firing Thibodeau. You have to hope that he gets past Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Because if he doesn't, then you failed. Then you made the wrong move. That's all there is to it. And if you also listen to what Dolan said, I think it's important, and this is a message to all you sports fans out there. All of you. Yankee fans, Met fans, everybody who thinks it's 1980 or 1972. He said that Thibodeau is not collaborative. And they need a collaborative person. There you go. Sports in 2026. Thibodeau is old school. Nobody's going to tell him what to do. Nobody's going to tell him who to play. Nobody's going to send down a lineup to him. Nobody's going to say this guy should be playing at this time. Tom Thibodeau is old school. And he's going to do things the way he wants. And despite the success that he had, that didn't play. Because owners and front offices, they want a say in this. They're investing a lot of money in analytics, in sports science, and the bottom line is they want to be heard. Thibodeau did not hear them. He didn't even hear his assistant coaches. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. That's why he was let go. He didn't want to play the game. He didn't want to be told they shouldn't be playing that many minutes. You should be playing your bench more. Maybe you should be playing this guy more. I'll do it. Now, did he handle it the wrong way? There's a way to handle it, to be the guy. Listen to everything. My agent who passed away, Steve Lefkowitz, once gave me a great bit of advice. He said, in this career, you're going to have a lot of bosses that tell you to do things that you disagree with. But telling them that you disagree with it does not work because they're the boss. They want to be heard. So here's what you do. You know, you're right. I'll definitely do that. Don't do it then. And they'll think, because they're all geniuses, that you actually enacted what they wanted you to enact. Yeah, you're right, boss. Yeah, I'll definitely work that. Now, sometimes your boss will tell you stuff that actually is really, really important and helpful. And sometimes they'll say moronic things. And you just say, yeah, got it. Okay, don't fight because Thibodeau fought. He wasn't listening. All he had to do was say, yep, all right, I'll consider that, blah, 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 blah. But when people go, you know, Aaron Boone, you know, he listens to the front office too much. That's how you get the job. If you don't listen to the front office, you know what? You're going to be fired. And this is in every single sport now. Do you know the amount of money that's put into analytic teams? Millions and millions of dollars, and you want the coach to just ignore it? Mike Brown is collaborative. He knew the rules of engagement. Carlos Mendoza is collaborative. That's how he got the job. Aaron Boone, collaborative. You know, he got the job. They sat him down, a long interview, and they gave him all these statistics. And they said, all right, make out a lineup. Out of all of these matchups and statistics and trends and stuff like that, he sat down and he wrote out 9 names in order. And it matched the 9 names that the analytic team would have put together as a lineup. That's why it's a cloudy thing when they say, well, you know, Boone doesn't make decisions. I think Boone does make decisions because he's like-minded to the people that are upstairs. That's being collaborative. Thibodeau wasn't. So hours after Dolan says, I believe we're going to win the finals, they get their butts kicked like that yesterday. Not a great look. They played terribly the last 3 games. They've been embarrassed. They got embarrassed by Joel Embiid and the Sixers. And then they go to Detroit and they get embarrassed as well. I want you to all remember one thing. Last year, the Knicks went to the 6th game against the Pacers, who ended up going 7 games against the eventual champion Thunder. They went to 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Their season almost ended in the first round against Detroit. They had to fight tooth and nail to get that series victory. And Detroit's better. And they've been to the playoffs now, and they know what has to be done to be there. Knicks have to snap out of it. Now, a lot of people, because of that game yesterday, that's why they have to trade for Giannis. One more thing that Dolan said that I actually laughed out loud when I read it. He said, we're not going to make any moves. We think this team is good enough to win a championship. And then it was presented, I think he might have just said, but I might want something done, but Leon Rose could overrule me. Who are we kidding, Jim? You own the place. Leon Rose is going to overrule you? The way Donnie Walsh tried to overrule you to not overpay for Carmelo and you didn't listen? When you own the team, you make the final decision, the final call. Leon Rose does not overrule Jim Dolan. Chris Drury doesn't overrule Jim Dolan. That's why, to me, and he admitted it yesterday, despite all the spin that was put out behind the scenes by the Garden, Dolan had nothing to do with this. This was Leon Rose. Dolan said yesterday, yeah, I was a big part of it. He's the owner. He's allowed to be a big part of it. But he laid down the gauntlet. They better make the finals. And I said that from the beginning when they made the change. One other thing, just to look into the psyche of people. I've heard some people tell me, you don't really know Thibodeau that well. He wants this team to do well. I know people like Thibodeau. I don't know him personally. And I just know the human condition. Thibodeau would be overjoyed if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals. Overjoyed. Because that would be a validation on his way. If he gets let go, they bring in Mike Brown, and this team goes to the NBA Finals, doing it in a different way, then Thibodeau's way is not validated. The human condition means that Thibodeau is sitting in front of his TV, watching the game yesterday on Peacock, if he gets Peacock, and gleefully rubbing his hands. Anybody who tells me Thibodeau wants the team to win because he's got a lot of relationships, really? Had a great relationship with Leon Rose. You don't think he wants them to fail? Of course he wants them to fail. I always bring it back to me, because all I could do with any certitude is talk about what I feel. If I was let go by this radio station, you think I'd root for this radio station? What kind of fool would do that? And some of my best friends work there. But it wouldn't be about them. It would be about the people that fired me. Of course I would root against them. Thibodeau wants the Knicks not to win. Because all of a sudden his stock rises. Well, you know what? Thibodeau did it the right way. And even Dolan said yesterday, any young team, would be foolish not to hire Thibodeau. First of all, he wants Thibodeau hired because there's offset language in the contract. He won't have to pay him the $30 million he owes him. So whatever he gets paid by another team to coach, that comes off what the Knicks have to pay him. So of course you're going to sit there and talk him up. But the way he said it, a young team that's looking to get right, Thibodeau did that with us. So he's saying that Thibodeau's not good enough to win a championship. So now the onus is on Mike Brown. Go win the championship. It has not looked pretty. I'm not here to bury the Knicks. It's stupid to do that on January 6th. There's a lot of basketball left to be played. Let's get Josh Hart back, and let's try to figure out Cat's role in this new offense. And you got to tighten up the defense, too. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. Marcus Spears coming up at 1:30. We're on till 3. At that time, Don Hahn and Rosenberg. I'm really intrigued, and I'll be listening to hear what Alan Hahn has to say about that Knick performance from yesterday. Just dreadful. Again, Knick fans that are bailing on the team because of this, relax. It's a really good team. It's an excellent team. But they're not playing very well. They're not. Bottom line, they're not playing well. You could admit that. I don't think there has to be any seismic changes. You don't have to make that trade for Antetokounmpo because of the last 3 games. But they got to play better, and they got to play harder at times, because when Jalen Brunson says they wanted it, they wanted to win, they truly wanted to win, and we didn't. Wow. There's no more damning statement than that. Why didn't you want to win, Jalen? Why did they play harder than you? Because the one thing that you can always control in every aspect of life, any job that you have, is effort. That's the only thing you can control. You can't even control outcome. You can control effort. You give effort. And when you do, usually good things happen. Why did they want to win and you didn't? Why didn't you want to? What'd you go to Detroit for? You want to see the Henry Ford Museum? Why would you go there if you didn't want to win? Let's hear from Spike in St. Pete. Spike, what do you think about it?
Well, first of all, happy, healthy New Year to you. I missed you when you were gone, but I hope you had a great time. Dr. K, you analyzed this beautifully. Your vindictiveness is going to go next to your picture in the Hall of Fame. And I agree with you. I would do the same thing, and I got, I think, 17 years on you. Of course, Thibodeau wants them to, crap out. That's just the nature of the beast. What I didn't like was that Detroit played Cleveland. It's a short plane ride, maybe a bus ride back there. I think asking these athletes to come on in the heat of the moment and make a statement, I'm going to give Jalen Brunson a pass on that. The assists are a function of players making passes. The Knicks crapped the bed last night. They didn't show up. Brunson, no assists, is inexcusable, and he didn't play in the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened, but I've done my homework, and in Mike Brown's previous two coaching jobs, he has a little lull because, as they call it, this film or tape or whatever, digital information out, plus plenty of video. So what I saw last night was the typical team that takes the Knicks apart. The team that has 6'8", 6'9" wings that don't let you get into the paint.
Very athletic.
Very athletic, and I'll tell you another thing that's troubling me, and I shouldn't think, I'm just buying time in my life right now, and I'm glad I can watch the Knicks. Of course, I'm not giving up on them. I don't think playing cat with Mitchell Robinson is the best way to go about it for a couple of reasons. Ty Butler, who knows basketball inside out, great young broadcaster, calls, appropriately so, calls Jalen Brunson, who makes the effort, and Cat, who doesn't look like he makes the effort, but he's just a big, lumbering guy, calls them traffic cones on defense. All right, it's a little nasty, but it's true. And Josh Hart is certainly, like you alluded to before, along with OG, who's a first-team All-NBA defensive player, no question about it. And Bridges is a good, also a good defensive player. But they got out-rebounded by 15, I think, last night, and they just stopped playing. They stopped playing. So, again, Mike Brown's iterations with first he was with Cleveland, and then he was with Sacramento. The players love it. He's coming in and saying, play fast, play more guys. So the team's all pumped up. The schedule, first 10 was so-so. This middle 10, they had a little softer schedule. But some of these teams, look, they lost to San Antonio again. They got very lucky in a couple of games against San Antonio. But I'll tell you this.
But you said one thing that we have to address, though, Spike. Play fast, play fast. You know that does not help Cat. That's not Cat's game.
It doesn't help Cat. I just told you a second ago, you can't play fast when you have two lumbering guys on the court, and there's not a better offensive rebounder and defensive help defender than Mitchell Robinson. You're going to play fast. You got to slow it down. That's why my guess he's going to insert Deuce McBride, who's been shooting the eyeballs out of it. He's 44% from three, and he's probably the best on-demand defender. I know he's 6 feet. With his afro, he's 6'1.5". He's the best defender they have on the man, and Bridges is good off the ball, and Mitchell Robinson's great off the ball. He's got to shake it up. Cat looks like something's bothering him, and maybe he just can't run up and down the court that much, Michael. What do you think of that?
I would think that there might be some validity to it, except for the fact that he does have occasional really good games. It all comes down to shooting for him. But he's not going to be able to be part of a fast break team. And they're not really a fast break team. They want to move the ball and move it quickly, get it over the timeline quickly. But they're not like the Showtime Lakers. He should be able to handle it. I think he's in shape. I don't think he's out of shape. Let's go to Joe in West Harrison. Joe.
Hey, Mike. Good afternoon. A lot of good points today. And the only reason why I'd say bring up the couple in is because a good defensive shot blocking center will make up for a lot of defensive mistakes. I mean, unfortunately, Brunson is not a true point guard. I mean, I witnessed last night. He's too small. He doesn't play good defense. So you have at least one defender on top that can penetrate and make a problem. And Towns sometimes does come up big and cover up for the mistakes, but not enough. And sometimes you're right. He doesn't look interested. And I don't like the makeup of the team. I mean, they went to the 6th game last year, like you said. I think they could get back, but I just don't feel that way. Like you said, they got a young Detroit, very long team. The Knicks do not match up well against them.
And you know what the biggest thing to worry about, Joe? Here's the biggest thing to worry about. Mike. The Celtics are the 2nd seed, and there's a lot of talk that Tatum will be back before the playoffs. Now, you can say, well, they beat him last year with Tatum, and that's true because Tatum went down. The Knicks were going to win that series anyway. But if Tatum comes back and the way everybody else is playing, this is without Porzingis, without Horford. Brad Stevens is a genius in the way he puts that team together. Mazzulla's a much better coach than we give him credit for. And maybe this is something to consider, too. In 23-24, the first NBA Cup, the Lakers were 3-7 after beating Indiana in the final. The Bucks, last year, they were 5-5 in the next 10 games after beating Oklahoma City. And the Knicks have now gone 5-6 after winning the Cup. I think there's an exhaustion level to it. You're away from home a long time. You're in Vegas for a long time. And then the schedule after that was unforgiving. I think the Knicks were exhausted. They probably should be over it by now. But when you play high pressurized games early in the season where you're giving it your all as if it's the playoffs, maybe you will wear yourself out. There's only been 3 NBA Cups, and each time the team that won came out of the gates after the Cup, stumbling just a little bit. All right, so they're lining up now. Who's going to be the Giant coach? We're going to talk to Marcus Spears about that when we return right here on the K Show, ESPN New York.
Tuesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How concerned should Knicks fans be about this 4-game slide?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. They just physically kicked our ass.
Who should the Giants be looking at to be their next head coach?
And the New York Giants is the most attractive job because of Jackson Dart and the talent that they have at a variety of positions. And they're picking at a spot where we can talk about who are they going to take with that 5th pick.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Listen up, football. Ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Hey, New York and New Jersey. Commitment issues? No problem. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month forever, as in for life. Switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, you may experience slower speeds. Pay $25 a month as long as you stay on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter. Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead.
Really?
That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in New York and New Jersey only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In New Jersey, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a time out to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off and every day 0% financing. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends January 31st, 2026.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Michael K. with you from 1 to 3. 3 o'clock, it's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. So the talk yesterday and around football now, who will the Giants pick as their head coach? It looks like Joe Shane is going to be part of the picking, and they certainly have a variety of different men to choose from. So let me bring in our good friend Marcus Spears of ESPN, and maybe he could help us out. Marcus, first off, Happy New Year. How you doing?
Happy New Year, brother. I'm doing great, man. Doing great. And you, Mike?
I'm doing very well. I have no complaints, but I need to know,
man,
who would you choose if you're picking the Giant coach? What type of coach do they need?
So the consensus every single year, which I'm very tired of, is an offensive guy because you got a young quarterback. And I just don't think you should go into the cycle with that formula. I think you hire the best leader that you think comes into your building that you interview. I think you hire the guy that can disseminate a message between the entire team. And obviously the X's and O's stuff has to take its effect, but you got examples of both. You look at Mike McDonald in Seattle. They go and get Sam Darnold. They manage to get the 1 seed. Defensive guy, Mike Vrabel, obviously a really good head coach, but his focus isn't offense. He got Josh McDaniels. And you look at Sean McDermott, who's been in the playoffs every year. He has Joe Brady. He's actually cycled through offensive coordinators. Mike Tomlin. And I'm not saying these teams are Super Bowl champions or great, but there's a formula for both, right? There's an argument to be made that if you want Jackson Dart to progress, then you may try to find your Ben Johnson or these guys that have had success with quarterbacks. But that obviously is the connection that has to be made. The head coach and the quarterback needs to be on the same page. I just don't think it necessarily has to be an offensive guy.
All right,
we saw. Go ahead.
A lot of the young defensive coordinators that are being considered, they're young and they haven't coached before. Is it important, Marcus, in your mind, to bring in somebody with some gravitas that's done it before, because they swung and missed on McAdoo, they swung and missed on Judge, they ended up swinging and missing on Dable? Can they afford to bring in another young guy who's never done this before to coach the New York Giants?
I think you can bring in a young guy, like I said, if he is going to ignite something. And look, Mike, I'm talking about all of this with the prism that the guy has the X's and O's and whatever his particular thing is, and he understands how to set a schedule during the day. I'm rooting all of that out, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not, if we have to talk about that, he shouldn't be your head coach. So I'm more in tune with how can this guy get the guys to play for not only him but for each other. That seemingly is the common denominator with all of this. Dan Campbell went through his awful year or two at Detroit, but that seems like a team that plays for their coach but plays for each other. Vrabel obviously sped that up with the Patriots. You look at Liam Cohen in Jacksonville, the success that they're having. It's not just him being an offensive guy. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is playing better and he's having success, but it's also about how you see the team respond. And I think the Giants need to be in that line of business as opposed to hiring a coach for the quarterback. I think that sends the wrong message immediately, right? Like if this is a good offensive coordinator, but he also is a leader of men. He also relates to the players in the locker room. He also knows how to galvanize and get guys going in the belief that they can win games. Then you got the perfect symmetry with the coach and the quarterback. But I think those other things are far more important, and you find guys that can teach and develop and progress you at that position if that's not your area of expertise.
So I'm wondering, because everybody's saying this is a coveted job because they have the young quarterback. And I just want to ask you, Marcus, I respect your opinion so much. Are you sure that he's the guy? Are you sure that Dart is the real deal?
No, I'm not sure. But I'm late to the party on quarterbacks more than probably anybody. Because I just think it's very hard to play. And I think year two, when everybody knows your game, if you can go out and have success, that says a lot to me. Like, I love the great rookie seasons and dudes doing a phenomenal job. We've seen it here recently with Jaden Daniels and C.J. Stroud and guys that come in, Joe Burrow, guys that come in and light it up their rookie year. And then second year, you find out more and more about them, more information. The league knows them. There's a season of film on them. They know what their tendencies are. They know what they like to do. And then how does that guy progress individually? Like, so no, I'm not sure Jackson Dart is the guy. He got to first keep his head out of traffic,
right,
and be available. But you see the arm strength, you see the team play hard, you see the spark that he provided. But you got to be careful about that spark, because sometimes that spark is just a little bit more than the disaster that you've been going through. So you got to be careful about saying, oh, this is the new way. No, it's just better than what you have, but it's still not good enough. We'll find more of that out about Jackson Dart. I do believe he did enough in year one to give people optimism and to give them hope that he can be a guy that's going to develop and continue to grow. But for me to say a guy is the guy after his rookie year, it better be extremely impressive. And we've had some of those, and year two hadn't been that great for him. So It just depends, man.
All right, so also another talking point, the narrative out there about the Giants, well, they have a lot of talent. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't think they have a lot of talent. I think they have talent at some skill positions and some along the defensive line. But, Marcus, this team went through 4 kickers. Their secondary was awful. They spent $175 million in free agency, and they missed on everybody. Do you think this is a talented team?
I think there's talent spread throughout, but I don't think there's enough talent core for them to compete at the highest level. I think Brian Burns is one of the best players in the league.
Yep.
Don't give him no credit because he don't win. I think Dexter Lawrence is one of the better interior D linemen in the league. The rookies have played well. Kayvon played well when he got there. Kayvon, I mean. A lot of hope. Like, look, I'm hard on Joe Shane. It's easy to be because of the Saquon thing, but the Saquon thing is over, right? And you build a roster, and for the most part, guys that he brought in that have panned out have become really good players. But you got to hit on some of those hidden guys. The more and more I look at these playoffs, the more and more I look at these rosters, man, it's the unsung left guard that nobody talks about. To your point, it's the kicker and his consistency. It's the punter that can pin guys back and make them go the long way, especially in a field position game like this. And to your point, like, the things that stand out is when you can't cover anybody, when you give up so many chunk plays and deep balls on the back end. The Giants know that they have to address their secondary and get a lot better there. But I think there's some pieces now on this team. I think Malik Neighbors is going to be a superstar at wide receiver. I think everybody feels like that. But there's more work to do, and that's kind of where you are when you one of these organizations that have swung and missed and been trying to figure out what your identity was, and sometimes you have a little hangover from having a quarterback for so long like Eli that you're trying to get out of that situation. And then Daniel Jones comes in. He shows you highs and lows. So there's been kind of a turntable at the most important position, which is ultimately what you judged at. But I think the Giants need to do a better job filtering the rest of their roster. And maybe it's not superstars or your unsung heroes, but I remember playing against the New York Giants when nobody talked about Kareem McKenzie, who I thought was one of the best offensive tackles in the league. And you had that offensive line that did a phenomenal job. The backfield was not only loaded with Brandon Jacobs, but it was also a deep backfield. So that's what the Giants got to get back to. Like this, we not sending rockets out of space, Mike. Like the blueprint is out there for how to build and become a good team. And this first is going to be the line of scrimmage. And then you got to find those pieces that fit.
All right, before I let you go, I want to go to the other side of town. The Jets had an awful year. And you've told us before on the show that, you do have a previous relationship with Aaron Glenn. And Aaron Glenn promised a lot of things, Marcus, and I don't think he delivered on them. What's your take on it?
It would have been hard. It would have been hard not to fire him. When you look at, and that's the thing, Mike, and I know you know that about me, I got relationships with a lot of people, but they know I'm going to tell the truth.
Right.
Aaron didn't really show anything throughout the course of the season, in my opinion, that would warrant you sticking with him outside of what you know your roster to be. Now, here's the deal. The Jets went through a fire sale in the middle of his first year. The quarterback position went up in flux because they bet on Justin Fields. Now, Aaron Glenn obviously had to be a part of that, but they bet on that. You're coming out of the Aaron Rodgers thing. You lose a lot of offensive linemen to injury early in the year. Like, there's a lot of things that happen from a football standpoint that you would say, okay, let's see if we can get these things right and what kind of coach he is in the building. Now, there's a relationship, obviously, because he played there. And there's a hope that it's some recall from the place that he came from when Dan Campbell started off awful and was able to get it going once you made moves in free agency. The Jets have a wealth of picks. They have an opportunity to get some really good players in this draft. I don't know if the quarterback is in this draft. They're at 2, right, Mike? They're going to draft 2?
They're at 2, yep.
Yeah,
so they want more to come out.
Yeah. Are you going? That's what I was about to say. Are you gonna hope more comes out from Oregon, and you think he's good enough to get that position right? I think the kid is talented. I haven't watched enough of him to know that if he's a program changer, but from the college folks around ESPN that's been talking, they think he's a talented kid. With Mendoza being the consensus one for everybody that I've talked to, but ultimately you got to get that position right. And Mike, you know this. It ain't no secret. Like all them championships Phil Jackson got hung up in them NBA arenas. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan name next to him and Kobe name next to him. Like you could be a great coach if you don't have that position and you don't have guys that can cover and tackle in space and all of those things. It don't matter how good your X's and O's are. So I don't know. I think the guys like AG, from what I've heard from the players, I think they respect him. I think they will respond to him, but ultimately, there's a lot of things that need to happen roster construction-wise before you can actually judge a head coach.
All right, final thing. I'm always curious about this, and you're going to be a great guy to ask. So I never played the game other than as a kid, and I'm watching the game on Sunday night, and I am so into it and enthralled. It's exciting. You've played in these games. I'm wondering, does Marcus Spears sit in front of the TV and go, wow, this is unbelievable?
Absolutely. I enjoy Steelers-Ravens like I never played football because of the excitement that was happening back and forth in that game. And I'm a defensive guy, Mike, but sometimes I like to see plays being made on offense, back to back to back, guys going back and forth. It's seesaw, and you don't know who's going to win. And obviously it comes down to a kick at the end of the game, which a bunch of times it happened with the Patriots in the Super Bowl or at critical times. And if it goes in, you remember it as a champion and the best ever. And if it doesn't go in, we talk about should your coach get fired? And is the quarterback good enough? Is his cap too high for you to keep him? You see how that worked, Mike? So it all was determined by 3 yards being wide. And you think about the conversation we having about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and oh my God, Aaron Rodgers, this is what they brought him here for, and this is amazing, and all of that. Everybody's speaking from hindsight right now.
So
which
you
is
loved
great.
it. You loved it.
I loved it. I loved it. It was amazing.
Me too. You're the best, man. Thanks. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. All right, brother.
All right.
Talk.
We're going to hear from Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey when we get back. Hey, FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every college playoff game day. That means more chances to level up your picks and turn big moments into even bigger wins. Ride with the favorite, take a shot on the underdog, or build a parlay. Then apply your profit boost and go for bigger winnings. FanDuel is the best place to get into the football action all playoff long, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. So visit FanDuel.com/local to get your college playoff profit boost today. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Now, for help with the gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
The NFL playoffs are here, and it all starts with Wild Card Weekend powered by Verizon.
Man, it all comes down to this.
12 teams, 6 games, 3 days, and 1 epic weekend.
My goodness!
It's win or go home, and every moment counts on the road to Super Bowl 60.
It's a touchdown!
Wild Card Weekend powered by Verizon. January 10th through 12th. Visit watch.nfl.com for the full schedule.
Rich Eisen here. LinkedIn Jobs is stepping things up with their new AI assistant so you can feel confident you're finding top talent. Get this. Employees hired through LinkedIn are 30% more likely to stick around for at least a year compared to those hired through the leading competitor. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Ox Spine at New York Presbyterian is always in pursuit of a better way to heal the spine. We're getting more people moving again with minimally invasive, non-surgical, and surgical treatments, with innovative solutions for every back and spine condition and your unique needs. Expert spine care is available now across New York City and Westchester. Find a doctor at nyp.org/oxspine. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
To the net. Score!
The New York Islanders are back in action with a brand new theme night schedule you won't want to miss. Bring your friends out for the holidays and take home a custom holiday replica jersey or arrive early for special bobblehead giveaway nights for Matt Barzell and Bo Horvat.
Barzell for Horvat. Score!
Explore the full theme night schedule at NewYorkIslanders.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Out on the course, they're the PGA Tour's best players. But in the arena, they're prime time. And Season 2 of TGL presented by SoFi is back with lights, cameras, action. We're talking big moments, big personalities, big names in the stands, all on the big screen. Big-time matchups with shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, overtime, and playoffs. It's city versus city, squad versus squad. The sport just hits different under the lights. It's TGL presented by SoFi. Keep up. It's golf. Tune into every match. Only on ESPN.
Empower.
Ellie here is getting the sleeve she's always dreamed of. She worked with Empower and planned for her next move, so she got good at money. Now she can be a little bad. Oh, by the way, you spelled journey wrong. No worries. She can afford the cover-up, too. Ooh, check out my tat. It says, invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
The College Football Playoff Semifinals on ESPN Radio. Thursday in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
From 47 yards, he got it!
Ole Miss faces Miami.
And it's intercepted! It's going to be a Miami pick six!
Then on Friday in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. It's Indiana, Oregon. The College Football Playoff Semifinals, 7 Eastern.
Thursday and Friday on 1050 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
Well, Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m. St. John's trying to bounce back from a really, really tough loss at the Garden. They'll travel to Hinkle Fieldhouse to play the Butler Bulldogs. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. right here on ESPN New York. At 7:30, the Islanders host the Devils at UBS Arena. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. All right, so Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey spoke today, and Aaron Glenn, hey, he puts the blame of this season on himself.
I put a lot of it on me as far as just the wins and losses. I will really say it like that. I put a lot of it on me on the wins and losses, and I have to do a better job. And I'm not going to sit here and blame it on the roster. I'm not going to sit here and blame it on the coaching staff. I'm going to blame it on the guy that's sitting right in front of you, and I got to do a better job. And I'm always say that, and until I get the whole situation situated, then we'll be better, which I know we will next year.
I will tell you this, and you heard Marcus Spears, who was a teammate of Aaron Glenn, said that it would have been tough not to fire him. He did almost everything wrong this season. The way he started with the media, he's gotten a lot better. Somebody probably got in his ear about that. The defensive coordinator that he chose, the quarterback that he chose, it didn't work. It didn't work. But I'm not a proponent of firing a guy after 1 year. But I will tell you this, if they have a year like this one next year, they will fire him. Because there's nothing that he put on the resume, the visual resume, that would say, wow, yeah, he's the guy. The only thing good about the Jets was their special teams. Now, he chose the special teams coach, but he swung and missed on a defensive coordinator, had to fire him, and that's his area of expertise. And if they don't get a quarterback in the draft, what are they going to do? They've got to get a quarterback to get better. If you go into next year without a real quarterback, you're going to have another bad year. Glenn talking about being a rookie head coach.
As a rookie head coach, and same thing as a GM, man, going through the first year and really understanding the landscape of everything, that's a huge deal. I will tell you that right now. And speaking of myself, man, there's a number of things I know that I'll be better at. And again, I'm still doing self-reflection, but I know for a fact there are a number of things. And the confidence that I have in Mougey, the confidence I have in our owner, the confidence I have in myself, the confidence I have in some of the foundational players that we have, that's where the confidence really comes from, if that makes sense. And
see, that's what I was talking to Marcus Spears about. Giants hiring a coordinator. There's a learning curve. There's a learning curve. When you're in that seat, you have to run everything. And Aaron was very forthright. A lot of things he wasn't ready for. A learning curve. Do you want to go through that if you're the Giants again? Or is it better to bring in a Stefanski or a McCarthy? Or do you want to go the hotshot coordinator route where the guy's going to be learning? It's different in that chair. That one seat over is a big deal. Although Glenn said he has a clear vision moving forward.
There's a clear vision. There's a clear plan on how we want to go about doing things. And you match that with Mougey, with our owner, the confidence I have myself with some of the foundational players that we have. That in itself, to me, gives all the confidence in the world, man, that we're going to go in the right direction. Now, there's some things we got to fix. Absolutely. We know that. And we'll fix those. We'll attack those the way we have to.
Now, he was asked who he's looking for in a defensive coordinator, what he's looking for.
Man, I like to be aggressive. I want to make sure that wherever the guy that we do have in, that there's a lot of synergy between me and that coach. So now I'm not saying that it wasn't synergy between me and Wilkes. It's just I want to make sure as I go through this process that that's not a step that I don't miss. And it'll be a number of coaches that we'll take a look at.
And he said he wants to earn the fans' trust.
I expect and I will want our fans to have a total trust in us and being able to do that. And we have to earn that too. And our plan is to do that. And we don't expect to have another season like this here. So we're looking forward to this offseason, looking forward to getting to work, using the draft capital that we have and the money we have in free agency to continue to build what we've been trying to build.
Well, he knows it better be better because even if he has 3 years and $30 million left on his contract, they will fire him if he has another year like this because you need something to hang your hat on. And I know it's dumb to fire people, 1 or 2 years, and when especially you give them a 5-year commitment, but you can't compound the mistake by staying with it. Now, Mougey, he said he's optimistic about the offseason.
I'm excited about the offseason as we go into it. Obviously, the draft capital we have, the cap space, and just being here now a year with AG, working with AG, the staff, getting to learn the staff, getting to learn the players, getting to learn this division. I feel more confident today than ever moving forward with what we have going.
And how about the quarterback situation?
I can tell you this, we'll exhaust every option. Free agency, the league, obviously the draft, we will exhaust that and have a good solution for the New York Jets.
People want to know, is the team going to be competitive or are they going to be respectable?
I believe we can be competitive and respectable right away next year. Because I've been here a year, I've learned a lot. We've learned a lot. I've got a clear vision. AG and I, like we said, we talk daily on this roster and the vision in this division. And with the assets we have moving forward, the draft capital, the cap space, I know we're going to continue to build and add good players to the team that are going to help us win.
Well, you know what? You got to hit on those draft picks. That's important. And Mougey's early returns are good. The Sauce trade, they got back a load. The Williams trade, they got back a lot. They have a lot of draft capital. Got to hit on them. Because as I've always said, draft picks and salary cap space, it's air. You have to use them the right way. It's fun to have them, but if you don't execute them the right way, you're in trouble. Hey, the Rascal Flatts Life is a Highway Tour is coming to UBS Arena on January 29th and the Prudential Center on January 30th of this year. ESPN New York has your chance to score tickets to the venue of your choice. All you have to do is go to the ESPN New York app. You might be listening to us right now on that app. Just scroll down to contest and submit your entry. Brought to you by Live Nation. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Paul Finebaum joins us in just a moment. We're going to talk some baseball at the bottom of the hour as well. A lot of stuff to do, and I'm sure you have a lot to talk about as well. It's the K Show going till 3 right here on ESPN New York.
Tuesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How concerned should Knicks fans be about this 4-game slide?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. They just physically kicked our ass.
Who should the Giants be looking at to be their next head coach?
And the New York Giants is the most attractive job because of Jackson Dart and the talent that they have at a variety of positions. And they're picking at a spot where we can talk about who are they going to take with that 5th pick.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Avatar Fire and Ash has arrived.
I am the fire!
Get your 3D tickets now for the greatest chapter of the biggest saga in history.
Whatever happens, protect his family.
Critics rave it's by far the best Avatar movie.
If your father and I do not return, you go as far and as fast as you can.
Movies don't get any bigger than this. Avatar Fire and Ash, rated PG-13, now playing.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead.
Really?
That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in New York and New Jersey only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In New Jersey, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Life is full of choices, some big, some small. And when you choose an H&R Block Tax Pro, you're choosing the largest network of tax expertise to be in your corner. For when your big ambitions need help with the small details. For when your six figures come from 6 different places. For when your gaming stream becomes your revenue stream. For when your business's year one needs 70 years of tax know-how. At H&R Block, we've seen it all, and we're here to help you make the most out of your money for life outside the box. Get started at hrblock.com.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Hey, this is Mika Zibanejad.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
All right, it is time now for the Paul Finebaum Report, brought to you by Bet365. We're always joined by Paul at this time on Tuesday. Paul, Happy New Year. How you doing?
Happy New Year. Great to hear from you. Good afternoon.
Well, I come to you for guidance. So, Ole Miss is advanced to the Final Four, and the assistant coaches that left to go to LSU are working with Ole Miss, but they're flying back and forth for recruiting and stuff like that. So I ask you this: how did Lane Kiffin expect to actually coach Ole Miss and do the job at LSU? That has to be looked at now as ridiculous.
It would have been, and just to explain to the audience, the big issue here isn't so much having a job in Baton Rouge and trying to coach in Oxford, Mississippi. They're not that far away by plane. The issue is this transfer portal, which is where colleges now go and pretty much stockpile. It's like free agency, and it goes on for about 2.5 weeks. It opened on January 2nd, so Kiffin could not have been the Ole Miss coach at that time. He had to be in Baton Rouge getting quality players to come to his program to make sure they don't have another bad season like they did under Brian Kelly. And what's interesting is that Ole Miss officials did not trust him. And now a number of his offensive coaches coached on Thursday night in New Orleans in the upset win over Georgia. Friday morning, they were 70 miles up the road recruiting for LSU. And today, only 2 of them, Charlie Weiss Jr. and a running backs coach are back in Oxford, ready to head out to Arizona. I know this is confusing if you don't follow college football. It's the new normal, but it is one of the most bizarre stories in the history of college football. That a guy, and don't forget, Michael, why did Lane Kiffin leave Ole Miss as they were heading to the playoffs? Because he didn't think they were capable of winning the national championship. That's why he left to go to Baton Rouge.
So that was going to be my next question, because you do know Kiffin. Is this his worst nightmare if they win the title, or is it a validation of the job he did?
It's his worst nightmare because, he spent 6 years. He's the architect of the program,
right?
But he'll get no credit because he is so widely reviled the way he has handled all of this. And, enough about America's team and Cinderella stories, but in many ways, Ole Miss is that. They have not won a championship since '63. That was before integration in the SEC. It's so long ago, it's ridiculous. And he did it. He's their best coach since that era. But like Lane Kiffin has always done, there's always something about him. You can find maybe a handful of other athletes or coaches. Just to go old school, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, it's like Billy Martin. Everything Billy Martin. Billy Martin could win the World Series, and then you get into a fight with Reggie Jackson at a nightclub afterwards. This is Lane Kiffin. He is just a villain in college football, and there are so many people rooting for Ole Miss now just to stick it to him.
Is he the type of guy that would tell Charlie Weiss Jr., we don't need to have them win again?
I don't think so, no. Because
he gets $500,000.
He pretty much told Lane Kiffin, I'm coaching. And he is the most important. There's a bunch of coaches on the staff, and you'll appreciate this. I was talking to an Ole Miss person yesterday, and they said, well, we got a lot of analysts who were upstairs who are now coming down to the field. One of them, and the guy said one of them is Joe Judge, and he's a great coach. I'm like going, did you see him at the New York Giants? So there's a lot of aspects of this that are pretty funny. But I don't think it's going to be a tremendous impact on the game, but it's chaotic. By the way, it's a short week anyway. The game ended at midnight Thursday. They're playing Thursday, so it's the normal week, which takes preparation, is almost blown up because the guy who's designing the offensive game plan has been going back and forth, and you can work on a plane, but it's still fairly confusing.
All right, so the game's on ESPN, 7:30, as you mentioned, Thursday. How do they match up with Miami? And is Miami a surprise for you to be in the Final Four?
Miami's an unbelievable surprise. Miami has upset Texas A&M, which was one of the best teams in the SEC in Texas. That was a road game. They smothered them. But the biggest story, I know everybody is talking about Alabama, and I understand that. But in my mind, the biggest upset of the whole thing has been what Miami did to Ohio State. You know the talent on that Ohio State roster. They had 2 finalists in the Heisman Trophy. They've got 2 first-round picks at wide receiver. They are so deep, and they could do nothing against the Miami defense. And what Mario Cristobal has done, he's a guy that was at Oregon before Dan Lanning, and never quite could get over the top. He struggled in Miami, always just blowing a game, keeping him out of the playoffs. But he has built an elite offensive line, but his defensive line might be the best in football. And that's the story of this game, because Trinidad Chambliss, who a year ago, Michael, played at Ferris State, okay? That's a D2 school. He showed up Kiffin found him on film somewhere. They invited him to come. He was a backup as the season began. And for those who watched the game against Georgia, he had 3 or 4 plays in a row that are as dynamic as anything I have ever seen. And that's really, I don't think he can get away with that, though, against Miami.
Now, he's trying to get that 6 year of eligibility. What do you think the odds that he gets it?
I think they're pretty good. The NCAA has just the worst record in court right now, and I think they're afraid if they deny it as much of a feel-good story as he is, it will get overturned, and they will look even dumber than they already look. So I think he'll get it.
All right, so how do you handicap Oregon, Indiana? The other game, that'll be on Friday, 7:30, also on ESPN.
It's interesting. There have been 2 rematches already in the CFP. Alabama beat Oklahoma, which had beaten them earlier in the season, and then Georgia Ole Miss. Ole Miss lost to Georgia in October. They beat them last week. There was one other rematch, Georgia and Alabama in the SEC championship game, and Georgia won that after losing to Alabama. I'm bringing all this up. I think if you're thinking about Oregon, that's the thing that you have to worry about. I'll spare you the cliches about beating a team twice in a year. Sometimes it really doesn't matter, especially if you play the Jets or the Giants. But I think in this case, Indiana is the best team, and I think they'll prevail. Oregon's very good. Dante Moore is the second best quarterback in the country. The best is Fernando Mendoza, who plays for Indiana. So they're likely to be 1 and 2 in the draft. For those of you keeping score and thinking about who this number 2 pick might be, and they're both outstanding. But I think overall, what I saw from Indiana against Alabama was one of the most incredible performances I've seen in recent years in college football.
Talking with Paul Finebaum here on the Michael K. Show. Paul, what are you hearing about Moore? Because you read some things he might stay in another year. Then Todd McShay is saying that he's told people he doesn't want to be picked by the Jets and he won't come out. Do you think he's coming out?
I think a little bit depends on this. If they can get a win, I think it might vault him a little bit. But you're a lot of people are saying, well, why wouldn't you come out if you're going to be the number 2 pick? Well, you just said it a minute ago. Show me somebody that wants to play for the Jets. That's number 1. And number 2, you can make $5 or $6 million staying where you are. Money is everywhere in college football, but it's hard to find it any bigger than in Oregon, and the reason is Phil Knight's Nike money out there has been funding that program forever. So it comes down to that. He might listen. Now everybody's got agents, so he might be able to figure out, okay, can I go somewhere other than the Jets? And by the way, maybe I don't know that. I'm just it's easy to say that. Maybe he wants to play for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, it is New York, and if he believes in himself, he could do very well. But then Sam Darnold will talk him out of it. The championship game is January 19th. I got to ask you this. Just to me, it's so obvious, but maybe you have the answer. Why would they open up the portal on January 2nd when the season's still going on? Why can't you push it back a couple of weeks? Doesn't that make sense?
Well, it's interesting. Until this year, the portal was open in the middle of December, which was even more chaotic.
Yep.
So they decided, let's move it to January, where it really only affects about 4 schools, which is true. But I mean, you had a quarterback for Penn State last year who left the program days before their first round game. So they have to figure this out. Ultimately, they're going to have to make some sacrifices. They're going to have to do away with this idiotic spring practice and end up doing what the NFL does. We're having OTAs in May and June after the roster is intact. Because what we've seen here, I know every time we talk about college football, we say we've never seen anything like this before, but that's self-evident what we're seeing right now.
Do you like Michigan's choice for head coach? Because I know a couple of people that went to Michigan, have information from there, and they said the one thing they wanted in a coach, he had to be absolutely squeaky clean with not one negative mark on his resume. Did they achieve that?
They did. Kyle Whittingham is a very good coach. Most people, because he's in his mid to late 60s, you kind of forget about him. He's had good teams, very good teams, and never a championship. He's come close, but I think they did well. I think they actually did better than had they lucked into Kalen DeBoer, whose credibility at Alabama has been shattered with that loss, 35-point loss, I might add, to Indiana. So I think he's a good 4 to 5 year interim coach. Mm-hmm. He's capable of winning a championship.
All right, so let me finish with this with you. Basketball in college has become laughable. They're signing professional players out of the G League. How is this allowed to go on, and is it going to change? I mean, when coaches, like Tom Izzo and even Rick Pitino kind of laugh at this, I mean, how is this possible that this is happening? Guys that were drafted.
There, stop me if you've heard this, but there's absolutely no leadership in college athletics. The commissioners of the Power Four conferences essentially run everything, but unfortunately the rules are still established by the NCAA. You have a politician who's the president of the NCAA. He's a former governor of Massachusetts. I don't know what that qualifies you for. And ultimately, things like this happen. It's a flashpoint. I think ultimately they'll undo this because this is so absurd. And rarely in college basketball does everyone agree, but everyone agrees how stupid this is.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Enjoy the games this week. We'll talk to you next Tuesday about them. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Michael. My pleasure.
That was the Paul Finebaum Report, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Now, for those that had not heard what McShay said that Moore has his agent talking to the Raiders to see if they would take him with the number one pick rather than taking Mendoza. And if the Raiders say they would take him, then he would come out. If the Raiders say they wouldn't take him, and there's a possibility that he'd be taken by the Jets, he wouldn't come out. Now, this is totally, Todd works for the Ringer now. He used to work for ESPN. This is totally McShay's opinion. Not fact. Not fact at all. And he's also, just a little side note, McShay is very close with Joe Douglas, and Joe Douglas was unceremoniously fired by the Jets. So maybe, that makes the Jets look bad if a prospective quarterback will not come out because the Jets might pick him. So that's the big story right now when you're looking at the Jets. How will they get the quarterback for next year? You could talk all you want about culture. You could talk all you want about draft capital. You could talk all you want about the money that you have available to spend. If you don't get a quarterback, nothing works. Nothing works. And their first swing at a quarterback was an unbelievable swing and miss. And I know you're going to come back at me with, well, they didn't really cripple themselves financially. They didn't give Justin Fields that much money. All true. But they crippled themselves on the field. He couldn't play. And in their judgment, he could. And it brings back the other question. You talk about culture building, right? And he wanted no part of Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not going to sit here and be disingenuous. I understand why he would want no part of Aaron Rodgers. Big personality, a lot of opinions. Obviously, he would be on television every Tuesday on Pat McAfee's show for the whole world to hear his sometimes outrageous opinions about everything. And maybe Aaron Glenn thought that would suffocate the room and also undermine his power. So I get all of that. Please don't think I don't get that. But I would ask you this. Would the Jets have won more games this year, this season, with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback, the way he's played in Pittsburgh? And he has not been the four-time MVP, Aaron Rodgers. He's been a good quarterback. Not great. He's great in the fourth quarter on Sunday against Baltimore. Absolutely unbelievable, like turning back the clock. He doesn't run well anymore, can't get around the edge anymore, but boy, can he throw the ball. So what would have been better for Aaron Glenn? Having an overbearing, opinion-laden quarterback and maybe win 7 games or do what they did. Now, this is just Monday morning quarterbacking. What would have been better? Because he keeps talking about culture change. The only way you could change culture is to win. I love the kumbaya nonsense. Well, we want to be pulling the rope in the same way. The only way you pull the rope in the same way is if you win. I guarantee each and every one of you, if the Mets made the playoffs last year and again advanced in the playoffs, we would never have heard about a fractured clubhouse. Now, you might say, well, maybe it wouldn't have been fractured if they did that. I think it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I think that his program would be further advanced having kept a pain in the rear Aaron Rodgers and won 7 games than what happened this year. You heard earlier, Marcus Spears said, it would have been very difficult for him not to fire Aaron Glenn after what he saw and the way he coached this year. You don't know the way he coached. You can't say anything positive about the way he coached. But if he had a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, again, all these things I've laid out exactly what he's about. He can play, and he's really a smart football mind. He can play. So Jet fans, as you're sitting there right now, would you rather have had him be the quarterback? And that was the first sign to me that Aaron Glenn was not quite ready for the big seat. The way he handled the Rodgers thing, having him fly 3,000 miles to tell him in 2 minutes you're out, then lying to Jay Glazer when Glazer had the story cold and called up Glenn to confirm, and Glenn lied to him and said, absolutely untrue. So now he has an enemy in Jay Glazer of Fox. Because when you're a reporter, I've been there, and somebody lies to you blatantly, you never let him forget it. And although he's supposed to be objective, we're all human beings. This guy lied to me. He'll never go back to him to confirm something because he doesn't think he'll tell him the truth. So he put all of his eggs in the basket of Justin Fields. In retrospect, that was not the play. I'm sorry, it wasn't the play. So it makes you wonder. And one final thing, was he that insecure that he couldn't handle the overbearing presence of Aaron Rodgers? And I don't think I'm being disingenuous, and it is Monday morning quarterbacking. But last season, the Jets fired a coach at 2-3, brought in another coach who didn't coach. Ulbrich was awful. And they had a 42, 43-year-old quarterback, and you know what? They won more games than this team did. So how's that a step forward? So the promise is, well, it all starts with quarterback. And your judgment was Justin Fields. You'd rather have Justin Fields than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers took the Steelers to the playoffs. Justin Fields took you to the woodshed. That was your decision. You can say, well, Mougey's decision. No. Aaron Glenn was hired first. Mougey came after him with the imprimatur of Aaron Glenn. Mougey is Aaron Glenn's choice as the GM. So don't tell me that Mougey went rogue and said, oh, Justin Fields is the guy. Because we heard Aaron Glenn say, I had the toughest time game planning for this guy when I was in Detroit. Other teams didn't this year. It's not that hard to game plan for a guy who, I don't know, can't throw, won't throw, has to have huge separation before you even try to throw. And that's the guy that you thought, that's the guy that's going to transition us into a good team. So you're still nothing at quarterback. Nothing. And if Moore doesn't come out, you're going to have to swing a deal for a quarterback. You're going to have to hope that somebody is unhappy and it shakes loose because you got the draft capital to make a deal like that. But do you trust the people in charge that they're going to pick the right guy? ESPN New York Survivor is officially wrapped up. Over 3,000 entries completed this NFL season for $5,000, or they competed, not completed, this NFL season for $5,000 grand prize. And 9 survivors made it to the end with correct picks every week. At ESPN New York, Chris Canty outlasted all 13 other hosts, finally getting knocked out in week 14. Big thanks to everyone who participated and to SplashSports.com for powering the contest all season. All right, you've been waiting for it. Let's talk a little baseball. What I've heard about the Yankees, we had the Hot Stove Show last night on Yes. Jack Curry, my colleague, dropped a lot of knowledge on what's going on, putting some cold water on some of the rumors that are out there. We'll talk about that in just a moment, and you get involved as well. You know the number, 1-800-919-3776. Lot to do, lot more to go. We go till 3 o'clock, and at that time, it's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg right here on ESPN New York.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply.
Tuesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How concerned should Knicks fans be about this 4-game slide?
Hey, it's pretty simple. They just physically kicked our ass.
Who should the Giants be looking at to be their next head coach?
And the New York Giants is the most attractive job because of Jackson Dart and the talent that they have at a variety of positions. And they're picking at a spot where we talk about who are they going to take with that 5th pick.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. Fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Wendy here. If you're looking to add a star player to your financial roster, you should take a look at SoFi's personal loans. SoFi's got some amazing moves that would be a valued addition to any team, like low fixed rates when you consolidate your debt, no fees required, and as soon as same-day funding. View your rate at SoFi.com/roster to get started. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply at SoFi.com/roster. NMLS 696891.
Rich Eisen here. As you all know, I care deeply about pediatric cancer research and awareness. That's why I'm proud to talk about Hyundai Hope on Wheels. For over 27 years, every Hyundai sold has helped fund life-saving pediatric cancer research. Together with over 850 dealers nationwide, they've raised more than $277 million, supporting over 25,000 kids in their fight against cancer. At Hyundai, hope isn't optional. It comes standard. Visit HyundaiUSA.com and search Hyundai Hope on Wheels to learn more.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Talk some baseball now. I find it so humorous how people react on January 6th as if each team has completed their roster. Met fans are angry with David Stearns. Yankee fans are furious with Brian Cashman. They haven't done anything, blah, blah, blah. It's January 6th. They don't report the spring training until February, second week of February. We can make some stronger judgments at that point. But here's what I found hilarious. People are so angry and they don't even know where to direct their anger. So last night, I did the Hot Stove show on Yes with Jack Curry. And we put it out on X that, the show's coming up at 7 o'clock. Oh, Hot Stove. There's nothing going on. It's not so hot. Why would I tune in? I mean, really, what's wrong with people? And if you're one of the people that posted that, really, first of all, the Hot Stove is you would get together, the derivation of Hot Stove, you would get together in the winter at a general store around a hot stove and talk about baseball. Things that are happening might happen. It doesn't mean hot as in they're doing stuff. It means what are they doing or what are they not doing? Like some nudniks out there think we shouldn't even have a show because the Yankees haven't done anything other than bring back the guys they had. That's ridiculous. Why are you so unhappy about everything? Why? Hot stove doesn't mean that it's something hot that's about to happen. You don't know the derivation of the term. And there was some stuff that Yankee fans you'd want to know that was uncovered by Jack Curry. The Yankees have made a second offer for Cody Bellinger. But there is a gap between the two sides. I would think the Yankees probably want to give him a 4-year deal. I think, in listening to Jack on the show, they might go to 5. And maybe they upped their offer already because they made a second offer, and it doesn't seem as if they made a second offer because another team made an offer. And the market that's trying to be established for Bellinger might not be there. I don't think the Dodgers want Cody Bellinger back, especially if Boris is looking for a 7 or 8 year deal. Jack said on the show he wants to beat what the Orioles gave Alonso and what the Phillies gave Schwarber. And those two teams essentially gave those guys 5 years, $30 million a year. Now, would the Yankees give Bellinger 5 years, $30 million? I don't know. But that is still a possibility of happening. They talk about the Dodgers. They don't want him, from what I'm hearing. The Cubs, they traded Cody to the Yankees for Cody Poteet and paid $5 million of his salary last year. They don't want him back. And the surprising one that I heard, maybe it could change, the Mets are not in on Cody Bellinger right now. And Cody did love playing for the Yankees. But I do laugh about that, and I said this on the show as well. All things being equal, Cody, would really like to go back to the Yankees. Oh, okay. But that's all things being equal. So if the Yankees offer him 4 years at $100 million, and the Angels offer him 5 years at $125, I think he's going to go to the Angels because you don't hire Scott Boras as your agent if you're going to be ooey gooey about your decision. You just don't. You're trying to get the most money. So I think that his love of playing for the Yankees and his dad's career with the Yankees, winning 2 World Series with them, I think that comes into play if the offers are close. If they're not, I don't care how much he loves the Yankees. He's going to go somewhere else. And I think it might come down to this. He wants to win. He liked being on a good team last year. But he might get his money from a team that's not good. Maybe it is the Angels. And then he's got a tough decision. If the Angels offer him a lot more money and more years, does he want to play for a team that's historically bad for a long time now? Or does he want to come back to the Yankees and make a little less money? Might come down to that. A lot of people I've seen on social media talking about how the Yankees haven't done anything. Other teams are signing players, blah, 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 right? There's not one player that is signed with another team, including the Japanese players, that the Yankees wanted. Not one. They have not missed out on one player that they wanted. You know, it was out there because, again, agents try to create markets that the Yankees are in on a MI. They were not. In fact, not many teams were. That's why he signed essentially a 1-year deal with the Astros. They weren't in on the Japanese infielders. They didn't have any interest. Now, there are rumors about Edward Cabrera. I don't know if that's going to happen. Yankees don't want to exit their or empty their farm system because you're going to have to give up a lot to the Marlins to get a guy who you have 3 years of control on, and he's only 27 years old. But he is injury prone. So you're going to give up a lot of your top flight guys? They think that they could get by in the first 2 months of the season as they wait for Rodon on May 1st and Garrett Cole on June 1st. They think they could get by with the combination of Yarbrough and Blackburn to go along with Fried, Schlittler, Warren, and Heel. They believe they could get by on that, so they're not going to empty a farm system to get that guy. And there's no free agent pitcher out there that I think they're going to dabble in. There's also rumors about Bichette. Yankees like Bichette. He's not a shortstop, by the way. Everybody keeps saying, Anthony Volpe is like a Supreme Court justice. He's gonna keep that job forever. If they sign Bichette, he'd either play third base or second. And that means that would necessitate them moving McMahon or moving Jazz Chisholm. So they like Bichette the player, but they're not sure how it fits. So I don't know if that's completely dead, but the way Jack talked about it, it doesn't look like it's imminent. And I don't think they would sign Bellinger and Bichette. So if they sign Bellinger, I think the heavy lifting is over. Unless Hal Steinbrenner decides, you know what? I'm going to go over the 304 threshold. If he does that, then all bets are off. And he's done it before. He did it with when they signed Teixeira in the offseason before 2009. They didn't want to sign Teixeira. And then Brian said, let's sign him. Can we get the money? And Hal made the money work. Let's see if he makes the money work. But there's one thing that kind of took me by surprise. So you see all the additions the Blue Jays have made. All the additions the Orioles have made. And the Red Sox have made some trades, and they've made their team better, and Tampa Bay's always lying in the weeds. And essentially, what the Yankees have done is run it back. So that upsets a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I thought that last year's team needed to be improved on a bit, but we do forget that they won 94 games. The most games of any team in the American League, tied with the Blue Jays. And their Achilles heel, they couldn't beat the Blue Jays. They didn't match up well with them. They got swept in a 4-game set in Toronto. Then they lost a 3-game set. And they lost a tiebreaker. And then they lost in the playoffs to Toronto. So they didn't match up well with them. And they're going to have to worry about that again this year. But Bet Online put out their projections as of January 5th. Doesn't include today. of win totals. Do you know what team is projected to win more games than any team in the American League? Yeah, I won't hold you back and make you sweat. It's the Yankees. They're projected at 93.5 wins. The Blue Jays, who went to the 11th inning of Game 7 and have actually, well, I don't know if they've improved because Bassett was an important player for them, and they've replaced Bassett with Cease. Let's see how that works out. And they've signed other people as well. Now, I think this number changes if they do sign Bregman or Bichette back or if they get Tucker. But right now, the Blue Jays are projected to win 91.5 games. So that would be 2 games behind the Yanks. Red Sox 87, Orioles 84, and the Tampa Bay Rays 78. So with all the crying and all the angst, and I'm not knocking that, but I do say let's see how it ends. And we have a talk show 2 hours a day, and we have to comment on things in real time. But for fans, both the Yankees and the Met fans, to be so angry about the way their team is built on January 6th, when their team's not built yet. 20 of the top 50 free agents, it's January 6th, have not been signed by anybody. Bichette, not signed. Bregman, not signed. Tucker, probably the best of them, not signed. And you wonder where his market is. Bellinger, not signed. Valdez, not signed. So all of the GMs are smart. They're waiting for the market to establish itself, and maybe it comes back. Maybe they don't have to pay a premium for these players. Maybe the market will come back to them. That's called smart management. Why do they have to set the market? And the agents are feeling the same thing. That's why there's a stall right now. I'm not taking this. I want this. I want that. And only as you get closer to spring training does reality start to kick in. Also, according to Bet Online, the Dodgers are favored to win the World Series. That would be 3 in a row. And you know who's second? The Yankees. And this is not me standing on a soapbox advocating for what the Yankees have done. But I'm just telling you the way the world sees it. And I think that's the way GMs put together teams. They run computer simulations, and the Yankees probably think, well, we're probably a 93, 94 win team. That'll get us in the playoffs, and we got a chance. And I think the same thing with David Stearns. The way the Mets are built right now, he probably thinks they're a 90, 91 win team, and he's good with that. That'll get them into the playoffs. Because although people want to deny it, there is a crapshoot aspect to the playoffs. So once you get in, you can win. Last year, the Yankees didn't. The Mets didn't even get in last year. And the chalk held up. The Dodgers won. But boy, it took a lot of breaks for them to win, despite a $400 million payroll. I want to hear from you. This should be fun. 1-800-919-3776. Get the co-host involved. But before we break, I want to tell you about the wild card round. It is here, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the wild card round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. Pick the matchups you believe in. Now, what might they be? Maybe you like the Bills traveling down to Jacksonville to beat the Jaguars. Now, the Rams are big favorites against the Panthers. That should be interesting. Or maybe the Monday night matchup on ESPN between the Steelers and the Texans. Maybe that's your game. Take a shot at an upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text 8HOPE-NY 467-369.
Tuesday with Don Hahn and Rosenberg. How concerned should Knicks fans be about this 4-game slide?
Hey, it's pretty simple. They just physically kicked our ass.
Who should the Giants be looking at to be their next head coach?
And the New York Giants is the most attractive job because of Jackson Dart and the talent that they have at a variety of positions. And they're picking at a spot where we can talk about who are they going to take with that 5th pick.
Don Hahn and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you can put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
1 in every 6 men is likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. That's why New York Presbyterian wants to remind men over 50 to book a prostate cancer screening. A simple blood test is all it takes. It could save your life. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester at locations near you. Schedule your annual prostate cancer screening today at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
Hi, I'm John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. You know what's interesting about the words personal injury? The first word is person. And at D'Agostino & Associates, that word means everything. That's because I handpick every person in our firm, from the pleasant professional person who answers your call to the experienced person litigating your case in court. Because every person in my firm is an extension of me, and the only way to exceed our clients' expectations is to deliver the highest level of personal service every single time. And that starts with hiring the right people. You see, we know that every client is a person too. Someone going through the toughest time in their lives and deserves to be more than just a file number. At D'Agostino & Associates, we put the person back in personal injury. So call 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222 and ask for me, John D'Agostino. And let's talk about your case, person to person. D'Agostino, law, bite back.
All the way over Barzell, score! New York Islanders hockey is back at UBS Arena, and it's time to bring the family and make some noise. With more afternoon games this season, the Islanders have special kids-themed games and activities for young fans. Play games pregame at the park and head inside for fun on the concourse and on the ice. Tickets for the 2025-26 season are on sale now. Get your tickets at NewYorkIslanders.com.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Smalls here. Life is full of choices, some big, some small. And when you choose an H&R Block Tax Pro, you're choosing the largest network of tax expertise to be in your corner. For when your big ambitions need help with the small details. For when your six figures come from 6 different places. For when your gaming stream becomes your revenue stream. For when your business's year one needs 70 years of tax know-how. At H&R Block, they've seen it all. And they're here to help you make the most out of your money for life outside the box.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Welcome back to the show. Coming up, Don Hahn and Rosenberg. Really intrigued to hear what Alan has to say about the Knicks' performance last night, where you just heard Mike Brown. We've been playing that promo throughout the show. We just got our butts kicked. He didn't use the word butt. They did. And then you have Jalen Brunson saying they wanted to win and we didn't. Well, begs the question, why not? But 1-800-919-3776. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Casey in Montana. Casey.
Hey, afternoon, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the Yankees. You make a great point about the offseason. We can't judge yet because it's not over yet. But the one thing they have done that they can't take back now is give Trent Grisham that $22 million qualifying offer. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid that this is going to kind of handcuff them in what they're going to be able to do the rest of the offseason because, we know Hal doesn't really want to spend much more than $300 million, which, by the way, I don't fault him for that at all. I mean, that's a very generous payroll. You should be able to make a great team with that. So I don't know.
I've been on the bandwagon, Casey, about Grisham, who I like as a player. He's a really smart guy. I think the Yankees gambled and lost. I was on Joel Sherman and John Heyman's New York Post podcast today, and we talked about this. I believe that if you went up to Trent Grisham, like if the Yankees really believe in Trent Grisham and offered him $36 million for 3 years, he would have signed in an eye blink. So $22 million for 1 year is a blatant overpay. Now, it wouldn't be a big deal, but if Hal's stated desire is to stay under the final threshold, you chewed up $22 million. I'm not saying don't bring back Grisham, but I think the Yankees did not think that Grisham was going to take the offer. And Grisham's a smart guy, and I'm sure he has a smart agent. You grab that. You're not getting anywhere close to that on the open market. You're just not. You're a lifetime 215 hitter. And your defensive metrics are going down as you get older. So if they go over 304, then it doesn't mean anything. Then I would agree, okay, you got yourself a center fielder for another year, 1 year deal. But if you do have the stated intent in a perfect world to stay under 304 and you chewed up 22 and that stops you from maybe getting Bellinger and going a little higher in the Bellinger offer, that's where it comes back to bite you. Let's go to Eric in New Jersey. Eric.
Hey, Michael, it's an honor. Thank you so much for taking my call. First-time caller.
Thanks for calling, man.
I have 2 quick points about Yankees pitching and why running it back next year is not a bad idea. We forget that Garrett Cole didn't play. I'm thinking 18 to 20 wins next year for Garrett Cole. Think about moving Max Fried down to the second spot in the rotation and all the other pitchers moving down. Now they're pitching against lesser competition. I'm seeing a great year with the same roster. Plus, Giancarlo didn't even play the first half.
Well, there's one thing I'd push back with you on, Eric. I mean, all the guesstimates are that Cole's not coming back till June 1st. So that makes him miss 8 or 9 starts out of projected 32. He's not winning 18 or 20 games. And we don't know what he's going to be. He's 36 years old. He had major surgery. So 18 to 20, that's a little aggressive. It's a little aggressive. So we'll have to see. But if all of their pitching comes back and pitches to the back of their baseball card, they're in great shape. But then they also have to deal with the fact Schlittler pitched the most innings he's ever in his professional career. Will Warren pitched more innings than he ever pitched in his professional career. Big workload for Max Fried. Last game he pitched against the Blue Jays, he didn't pitch well. So did he run out of gas? Those are the things that you have to prepare for. I think that if they run into a problem where they don't have enough starters up here, I think the first guy up would be Elmer Rodriguez. I think he's the next guy up because they kind of pushed Schlittler out of necessity, and it worked out. They didn't, they weren't quite sure he was ready, and maybe Elmer Rodriguez isn't ready, but maybe he's good enough to actually do what Schlittler did. That'd be the first guy. That's why I don't think they're going to, trade a treasure trove of picks or minor league players to get Edward Cabrera. I think that's going to be a tough one for them to make. Guy brought this up on Twitter. I can't get it out of my mind now. You know the singer Jelly Roll? Well, he lost a tremendous amount of weight, like over 100 pounds. And the guy put a picture up, and he said, I can't unsee the fact that Jelly Roll now looks like Michael Kay. And I looked at the picture, and it's hard to argue. So in the next day or so, I'm going to get some face tats to see if I can look exactly like Jelly Roll. But look it up online. It's amazing. He kind of has a big forehead like I have, long face. I'm kind of the radio version of Jelly Roll. I didn't see it happening, but it happened. Coming up, Don Hahn and Rosenberg. Got to stay tuned for that. As I mentioned, I'm looking forward to hearing what Allen has to say about what the Knicks did yesterday against the Pistons, or what they didn't do. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 1.
Tuesday with Don Hahn and Rosenberg. How concerned should Knicks fans be about this 4-game slide?
Hey, it's pretty simple. They just physically kicked our ass.
Who should the Giants be looking at